Hi, friends. One debate that I see come to the surface on the internet from time to time is Daniel LaRusso from The Karate Kid against Rocky from the Rocky series. And, well, first of all, we got to define when was Daniel LaRusso at his prime. I would suggest that it was actually in his prime in the Cobra Kai series when he beat Terry Silver. But, do you want to say after he beat Chosen in Karate Kid Part 2? Do you want to say after Karate Kid 3? It doesn't really matter as long as it's after he defeated Chosen, I guess. But, of course, after he learned the pressure point system, so I guess when he defeated Terry Silver, okay, I'll just use that Daniel because he knew the pressure point system. But if you want to use another Daniel, it doesn't really matter as long as it's after Chosen. Now, point karate isn't very effective in a street fight. Point karate is for point karate for tournaments. But I'll give this in Daniel's favor. Remember when Daniel's like asking Mr. Miyagi the rules, and in Karate Kid Part One and Mr. Miyagi was like, I don't know the rules. I fight for life, not to win tournament, not for points. I forget his excuse, but the point is the karate Mr. Miyagi was teaching Daniel LaRusso was for real life situations, not for point karate. So I'm not going to discredit him and just call him a point karate fighter. And he defeated Chosen, he defeated Terry Silver, and those weren't point karate matches. So now the thing about Daniel, which actually is a hindrance to him to some degree, if he's going to fight a guy like Rocky Balboa, is where's his offensive skill? Now his defense is founded in his karate is founded in his defense, and that's kind of one of the things that makes the Cobra Kai and the Miyagi Do clash is offense versus defense. So he for example, if he was going to fight Rocky, one thing that I think would be his advantage would be his leg kicks, kicking Rocky's leg. But I don't recall Daniel ever kicking someone's leg. Now, I've seen other people in the Karate Kid series kick legs, but Johnny was actually kicking Daniel's leg and Rocky Kid Part 1, the tournament after Daniel had a hurt leg. He was like kicking his leg and basing his offense off of that. But, basically, Daniel's a karate fighter that, focuses on kicking to the face and punching to the face. Now let's enter Rocky Balboa. Well, the peak Rocky is Rocky 4, right? When he defeated Ivan Drago. Now let's think about Ivan Drago for a second. Remember when he had that punching exhibition in Rocky 4? And it started out by his manager, the Russian manager, the Russian propaganda person saying the average heavyweight. Daniel Russo's kind of like a lightweight, maybe a super lightweight. So he's not a heavyweight. And he's not a professional boxer. These guys are the ones that punch the hardest are professional boxers. And the Russian guy says the average heavyweight boxer has 700 PSI of force, power per inch or whatever, when he did that. And then Drago hit, it was like 1850. So basically it was over two times as much. But then in that training montage, in Rocky 4, when he's preparing to fight Rocky, his numbers actually get to about 2100. So he's essentially punches three times harder than the average heavyweight. Guys, that's harder than George Foreman. That's harder than Ernie Shavers. That's harder than Sonny Liston. That's a lot harder than Mike Tyson. Drago hits. His punching power is like off the charts. Outside of like comic book characters, like if you have a character based in reality, Drago punches harder than any of them. And Rocky defeated him. Rocky not only defeated him, but he ate many, 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 many blows. So if Drago couldn't take Rocky out, how's Daniel? Guys, listen to this, okay? Daniel's only way to possible victory, and I don't even think this is a way, would be to try to take his knee out, right? Kick him in the knee, try to take his knee out, disable him. I guess part of the Quicksilver method, right? but Daniel really didn't do that. So, and a guy like Rocky Balboa, who actually has street fight experience, in Rocky 1, he was, you know, a person that worked with a mob. In Rocky 5, he used, street fight tactics against Tommy Gunn. You can't just rely on a kick to the knee. You have to have more than that. Is there anything that Daniel LaRusso can throw at Rocky that will stop him? No, absolutely nothing. Rocky could actually stop LaRusso even if Daniel blocked all his punches. His arms would be so hurt from those punches because Rocky hit hard. So Rocky could just render Daniel LaRusso unconscious. And he might have to work for it. Daniel was pretty defensive, but guys, like all the karate motions, what if Rocky just did like a jab, but he faked a jab? Daniel reacted to it, and then he slipped a hook in, like bam, bam. Yeah, that's really hard. Karate fighters are very vulnerable in different places if they don't cross train. And and Daniel did not cross train. Now, if you're like some karate person and you think I'm being disingenuous, no. Okay, I don't accept your challenge. Okay, I'm 45 years old. I'm not going to fight anybody. So I'm just trying to share wisdom here. I'm just trying to share my experience. I'm 45 years old, but I've seen a lot of combat sports. I kind of know what I'm talking about. There's no avenue for Daniel to win. The only avenue would be to kick his leg, but Daniel doesn't do that. So, and that wouldn't even stop Rocky. Now, what about pressure points? Guys, if you paralyze Rocky's arm, he's going to keep coming. All right? If you paralyze his leg for a second, he's going to keep coming forward. And those paralyzing those pressure point moves that they don't last that long. I mean, and second of all, Rocky has. I mean, when he trained for Clubber with Apollo, I mean, he got his skill based as a boxer with speed, endurance, but just his ability to. He's like a dump truck to some extent that you can just pound him, and he's not going to go down. I mean, what? I mean, if Drago can't knock Rocky out, if Clubber can't knock Prime Rocky out, he knocked out, you know, uh, not a Prime Rocky, but a Prime Rocky. If Apollo can't knock, a Rocky that's not Prime out, what is? I mean, all these characters would just pulverize Daniel LaRusso. Why do we? What could Daniel possibly bring to the table? And guess what? Rocky also knows how to grapple. I mean, he did suplex Tommy Gunn in that street fight. And I know there might be somebody in the comment section, if anyone does leave a comment that might say something like, "Oh, well, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu would take both of them." Guys, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has its limitations. I mean, if someone knows how to sprawl and brawl, well, that kind of was made up to stop Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. A guy like Khabib doesn't know Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Now, John Jones does, but he didn't really use it to win that many fights. I guess the sub-defense. The thing is that striking is overrated. I don't think people understand the heavyweight champion of the world, how good of a fighter they are, how hard they actually hit. Now, Tyson Fury is the heavyweight champion right now. Now, of course, if he was put in the UFC, John Jones would just kill him. I mean, it wouldn't be a fight. But guys, Tyson Fury, if we're in a striking battle, and Daniel Russo against Rocky Balboa would be a striking battle, the boxer would win. I mean, Bruce Lee even commented and said that Muhammad Ali would defeat him, and Bruce Lee said that. So, guys, Daniel Russo is a nice character. I personally think Johnny is a lot better in the Cobra Kai series, but I like that series. I'll watch it. I don't rewatch it like some people do. Now I rewatched some Rockies. I think they're better movies. Guys, I just don't see an avenue to victory. Now, if we're talking about Johnny, who actually does kick the leg sometimes, that might be a different argument. But still, I don't think anybody in the Karate Kid universe could stop Rocky Balboa or Ivan Drago or even Paulo, probably. Anyway, guys, that's my opinion.